Welcome to a change in my shows. This is something a little different, and I'm going to be probably doing a lot of these type of stories during the week off and on, and maybe other different topics like I promised. And as normal, I'm going to be on Friday for the very last segment of my 70s in retrospect. I'm going to be doing 1979, which was another great year for music and movies and lots of newsworthy subjects and topics. And today I'm doing a story. It's 70s folklore in 70s Florida. This was suggested to a friend of mine who I'm giving a shout out at. His name is Lee, and you know him. We know him as Cynthia Lee. He does a Court Zorker show. Don't ask. Every Saturday at 10 o'clock his time. He's in Seattle. At 1 o'clock my time in Florida. He's a scam baiter, one of the best scam baiters on YouTube. Definitely check him out. His name is, it's the Court Zorker Cynthia Lee Show. Just look up Cynthia, Cintia, and you will find a lot of his videos. And he was the inspiration behind these type of shows that I'm going to be doing, these type of videos. So why don't we start? Okay, now this is funny. Now this came from the Immokalee, Florida Bulletin, news bulletin in 2018. And it's not this creature, this mythical being is not the Everglades Yeti, and it's not the Oregon Sasquatch. Note to Lee, no wonder you don't want to stop in Oregon. He did a song from way back over about 10 years ago in his semi talking. He's singing, I Don't Want to Stop in Oregon, which he says he loves it. But going back to the subject matter at hand, the not the Sasquatch, Oregon Sasquatch, or the Himalayan Yeti, but this is the story about, drum roll please, the skunk ape. Oh no! And this mythical being has several nicknames, some of them including the Cabbage Man, Swamp Squash, and the Florida Bigfoot. And speaking of the Bigfoot, I've been hearing about this since 1976 when I was 8 years old. And of course, when you're 8 years old, you know, your little undeveloped mind believes that. Oh, wow, Bigfoot, oh, wow. And ever since then, there have been sighting after sighting after sighting. And even so today, they are having TV shows where they set up hunters, like a group of hunters that are trying to track them down. Well, you know the rest. You've seen it all. I mean, it's blah, 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 pretty blasé by now. But every time I see something like that, I just have to shake my head. I mean, these people are permanently stuck in elementary school. And anyway, that was my first time I heard of the Bigfoot. And I mean, come on, really? Anyway, this supposed creature is supposedly 6'8", 500 pounds, and shaggy, rust-colored to a dark brown fur. And he is most known for its rank odor. Ooh, no. Woo. It's been said that the smell is between skunk and roadkill, which is bad enough, but there's even worse opinions of many people who have supposedly cited this hairy creature, who seems to elude a lot of pursuers. And well, anyway, and he is considered a cryptic being. That it means that's existed in present days have been disputed or unsubstantiated by scientific community. And translation, it's fake, duh. And a lot of cryptozoologists, i.e. scientists, aim to protect the existence from folklore of protect the existence of these entities from folklore records and anything reported about the skunk ape. It's trying to protect it against any reports, basically trying to protect this thing's identity. And as the sightings, here are the sightings, breaking them down right here. 1972 was the first supposed sighting, and it was in a West Palm Beach subdivision, same year that the Pahokee resident and his dog fled from a hairy 8-foot being in West Palm Beach County. June 1974, the creature picked up a farmer's 110-pound hog and attacked it. And according to the farmer, well, that creature done had smell that would make the hairs of your neck stand clear up. Woohoo! September 1974, a security guard in Wellington shot one in a construction site where he was posted, and he said it smelled like it had taken a bath in rotten eggs. Now that's worse than skunk and roadkill, if you want my honest opinion. And so in 1977, this was a huge year for sightings. There were 2 workers reported seeing a 7-foot tall hairy creature quenching its thirst in a lake at a suburban Delray Beach golf course. It's kind of like similar fashion of that song Werewolves of London by the late great Warren Zevon. He saw a werewolf drinking a pina colada in Trader Vic's, and his hair was perfect. However, the same can't be said for this disgusting creature and this unhygienic beast. And workers notified Palm Beach County Animal Control Division, but no reports were filed. Hello? Animal Control obviously had more smarts in this instance, because they figured they would file no reports, because obviously their sanity would be questioned and their job would be on the line, and rightfully so. The top story of 1977 was a Key Largo family by the name of the Stockmans, and they spotted one that was about 8 to 9 feet tall with a huge head and shoulders and long, hairy, dark brown, like to rusty color all over, and stank like a dirty, wet dog. No offense to wet dogs, but that was his description of it. And it's an insult to wet dogs. And the funny thing is, this creature made this really high-pitched wail. And the family cleared 30 foot of their bushes around the shrubs around their house to discourage any further visits, but the visits became so frequent that the family had to flee to homestead. I can imagine that. And the Monroe County Sheriff and deputy and a sergeant responded to the terrorized pleas of this family, and the Marine Patrol captain also inspected their property, but as expected, no trace of the supposed creature was found. And Mr. Stockman stayed at home for about a month, and armed with a shotgun, and later he joined his family in Dade County about 6 months later. A short time after this, a group of Tavernier residents formed the Skunk Ape Posse, armed with flashlights, lanterns, camera, snake bite medication, and they began a skunk ape safari. Woo! Oh my God. And the posse met at the Harry Harris Park Estates and followed shoreline north to Dove Creek Estates. As with the skunk ape, Everglades monster again eluded its pursuers. You see a pattern here? I mean, really. And in 1978, a Lantana resident spotted one in backyard at 5 a.m. And also on another note, this is completely different from the skunk ape myth. This Key Largo resident supposedly discovered the lost city of Atlantis. And upon close inspection at low tide, Atlantis was nothing more than ancient fossilized brain coral, which this resident seemed to have a lack of. And the brain coral obviously had more smarts than this tool. I mean, really, I think, well, the 70s, I mean, there was a lot of acid was dropped in the 60s, and I think what happened is these people that had dropped the acid and went to Woodstock, no offense to Woodstock. I mean, I would have loved, I was born during the wrong decade and would go to Woodstock in a heartbeat. But evidently they never came back from their trip. Obviously, these people never did. So yeah, that explains a lot. But now we're backtracking to 1977 again, due to a bill was being introduced to make it illegal to take, possess, harm, or molest one of these creatures. Molest. Somebody would have to be desperate to molest one of these hairy things, but who knows? Maybe, I don't know, maybe some women who are desperate for male companionship. Who knows? They might do anything. But of course, as usual, the bill did not pass. And as far up to now, of course, you know, there are more groups you see on TV. They don't really speak about the skunk ape on TV, but of course it's the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot, which, you know, are different species. So this Sasquatch or the Bigfoot have, of course, different species. And as far as I know, there are still being sightings and stories as of today about how the skunk ape still lives among us, and how there have been more sightings, and there are still people. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is like the Elvis sightings. I mean, come on, people. Elvis died, what, over like 45 years ago or so? And people are still, I don't get it. I mean, you know, there's sometimes like, what's next? Are people still thinking that our presidents are still living? Like, oh, just like that story about Jim Morrison as well, that Jim Morrison was still alive and well and living in Paris. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people have their different ways of coping, I guess, I assume. But yeah, so tell me what you think about this. Like I said, this was probably one of the best 70s folklore stories I can find. When I saw this, I thought of Lee, and I thought, wait till he sees this content. I didn't tell him, of course. I'm like, you're going to have to see for yourself. I'm sure he'll have a lot of comments on that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this stream. I'm not too sure you all have probably heard about the skunk ape, but there's people out there who probably haven't, preferably millennials, who they missed a lot. I mean, our 70s are to them what the 50s were to us with our parents. We thought, oh my God, that was so lame. How tame back then. But yeah, so every generation has its opinions and its say on, you know, what was cool and what was not. But anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this little tale of folklore from 70s in Florida. Anyway, I'll see you on Friday for my 1979 live stream at 1 p.m. And in the meantime, I am going to get up some more material, and I will hopefully see you again live. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. And please give this video a thumbs up and comment, please. It would be much appreciated, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.